Hello, welcome back to the Beard Before Wicket podcast. We've had 2 episodes this week, so thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for the support. I have a very quick request from everyone. We will be recording in studio next week, I believe, so we need you to send as many questions as you have for us, because we're going to be doing a Q&A, because it's overdue. We want to say thank you to you guys for staying tuned with us. Mo's with me, as always, sat in your place in Dubai. You've been doing loads of traveling. You're finally coming home, bro. Are you buzzing to come home? What's the plan?
Yeah, obviously buzzing to come home. But my family's obviously, my parents are there, and my brothers, and my sister, and relatives, friends, everyone's over there. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And obviously, I'm playing for Warwickshire, Birmingham Bears in the Blast as well. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, and you can rip me for this all you want, but when I looked at the schedule, the Birmingham Bears schedule, I thought I didn't have a clue that you were playing every third day.
Yeah.
Sometimes the day after the last game, and I was thinking, yeah, you're gonna be knackered, bro. So it's a big schedule.
Yeah, it's like full on. When I get back, everything's full on. So there's so much more going on, not just Birmingham, because I'm player coach there, so I'll be like proper busy.
What's player coach entail?
Obviously playing the games, but coaching in terms of the younger guys, or just helping out with the main coach, who's obviously Warwickshire coach, or doing second team academy, whatever it is, just getting the experience of coaching.
Nice. Obviously, I was just about to complain about being knackered, to be fair, because at the time of recording, it's 9:30 in the morning. I've been awake since 7 with a toddler who didn't want to leave my corner. Then I went to the gym. A lot of things have happened. But I realised, in my head, I was complaining about it. And then I got a notification on Sky about Sikander Raza, and I hadn't deleted it. Did you see what he did?
Yeah.
A couple of days ago.
Yeah, when they lost the test match, got there like 10 minutes before the toss, played. Yeah, it's amazing. And then hit the winning runs. But, that's happened quite a bit, actually. It happens a lot more than you think. It's just that was a final and he hit the winning runs. And it's obviously then become a big thing.
I was mind blown. He's come, and he played well in the test as well.
They batted really well.
Yeah. And then rocks up and wins the PSL, and also he's played unbelievably well in the PSL. But I think he's is he 37, 38?
I think he might be. It's on 37. I think he's about 35, 36.
I mean, I can't believe he went all the way back to the PSL. Genuinely, I was like, and obviously you said it's happened more frequently, but surely when you play a test, and also a test,
test that is very rare. Where you play a test match, I think they lost in 3 days, so it actually worked out perfect for him.
Yeah, that's mad. I'm going to quickly Google his age. He's 39, bro.
Is he actually?
Yeah.
Wow. He's fit as well. He's a real fit. He's a good lad. Wow, yeah. 39. That's amazing.
Man, I was around him, to be fair, during the PSL. Top guy. Proper lovely guy.
Yeah, he's a top guy.
Yeah, and he mixes with everyone. Everyone, basically anyone who's got a kid, they're probably going to be with Sikander Raza. That was the thing that was going on, because he's just picking up kids in the corridor. Lovely guy. We also did a separate episode on our IPL predictions. If you haven't watched that by now, that was on Thursday. We're going to give you a spoiler now. Mo, by the time... Actually, no, the final's getting played Tuesdays, 2 days after we released this. So who did you have winning the IPL? Just so the people logging in right now know, and then I'll tell you.
I had Mumbai Indians.
And I went for Gujarat Titans. And by the time this goes live, we'll know who's in the final, I think. So there's a big meal. Mo's taking me to a big meal if I've got it right. And if he's got it right, then we'll see what happens. But for now, it's we just mentioned, obviously, Test cricket. It's kind of it's a mix of Test cricket season also, along with all the other cricket that's going on. But last episode, we were chatting about the greatest ever Test batters. And obviously, we were talking timeline-wise, how to pick players, but we said, or more so you said, in this most recent period, your top 4 would be Kohli, Steve Smith, Kane Williamson, Joe Root. So what I want you to do is give me them in order, because the comments, I'm pretty sure Josh Butler or Ben Stokes, someone who plays for England, was in the comments going, I need these in order. So I want you to put them in order, and then we'll work out how you got there.
Are you just saying that about Josh and Stokes, or is there proof?
No, I'll go back to the comments, bro. There's so many comments there. I know for sure I'd seen a England cricketer had commented saying we need them in order.
It's a tough one, man. It's so tough. My top 2 is Root and Steve Smith is one of them too.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that is because I played Steve Smith when it was like 2019, 2017, like peak, like when he was playing his best. And he was like the hardest batter to bowl against for anyone. He was scoring runs. Like, he's winning games single-handed. He was scoring 100 almost every game. Ashes, like crucial knocks. And we're only talking Test cricket, obviously, and just an unbelievable, like strange technique. His own way of batting, obviously, he's almost like you, very, very, very unique, but unbelievable. Like, players score runs everywhere, any country. And the reason why I put Joe Root right up there is because I felt after COVID, Joe Root just went on his own, like a different level, like scoring double hundreds. I think he raced from 20 or just under 20 hundreds to 30. How many hundreds does he have? Sorry,
36.
Yeah, and I think he raced in the last couple of years to that. And then he's like playing this shot, which is over the slip where he's scooping. I'm not just saying because of the shot, but just he's to be able to do that in Test matches at crucial times it's mind blowing sometimes. And for me, he's the best player spin in the world. There's he has different games, different techniques, different styles on different wickets. I can spin when he's spinning big, when he's not spinning so much, all that kind of stuff. He's a problem solver. If he solves problems really well, which obviously then leaves Virat for me at number 3 and Kane at 4. It's a tough one because they're both amazing players in their own way. I mean, Virat has done extremely well, and obviously scored. It's so tight between all 4 of them. And Kane Williamson is like from New Zealand, just a brilliant technique, beautiful to watch, solid. But I just put them other guys ahead of. And I don't know if guys will be upset about it or whatever, but
they're going to be upset. They're 100% going to be upset.
Yeah, I put Steve Smith, Joe Root, 1 and 2. I don't know which way that's going. I think Joe Root is like unbelievable, bro. Like, and when you know somebody as well, and he's such a good guy, he's one of the nicest guys in cricket. You know, it gives him that extra. For me, it gives him that extra lift, and it's very difficult, man. Like, Steve Smith is not somebody like technique-wise. It's not somebody you'd probably enjoy watching so much, but when you're playing against him, wow, man, that guy is incredible. Honestly, you can't bowl out.
I was reading up some interviews where other people were not ranking these guys, but they're speaking on Joe Root, they're speaking on Steve Smith, and a few people were saying if Steve Smith's like peak lasted a couple of years longer, then we're talking about like he's in the greats list. And the person who was writing the article said, if Kohli played another few, like they felt like Kohli had maxed out in Test, like we'd seen everything of every version of Kohli possible, but they felt Steve Smith maybe went a couple of years too short. But he would, if he went a bit longer, he would have carried on right to the top. So I was quite surprised you put Joe Root up there. But obviously, there's tax.
What's the averages? No, it's not tax. He's right up there.
Batting average. So Steve Smith is only in Test is 56.74. You'd be surprised. Kane Williamson is 54.88. Joe Root's 50.87, and Kohli's 46.85.
Yeah. See, so Steve Smith in his peak, he was averaging like 60. I'm sure he was averaging 60 a lot.
Yeah, he was. In his peak, it was 61.2.
And after Bradman was in.
Yeah.
So, like, he was unbelievable. But I reckon Joe Root in the last, 2-3 years would be averaging since COVID, would be super high.
So what changed after COVID? Because here's my perception of Joe Root. Like, sweet guy, very laid back, very relaxed. And I genuinely don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I think like there's different types of leaders, but I wouldn't have him as someone who's a proper out and out leader. But I agree with you. After COVID, when he came back, like I don't know what happened. Like something switched in his head, and he was just doing things that maybe he was capable of before, but he just wasn't doing it.
No, before COVID, he was one of the best anyway. Just after COVID, he just took it on another level. But what happened was, I think, from what I've heard, and when I spoke to him obviously as well, he just like went through his dismissals, talked about his game and just worked extremely hard. He just batted more, trained a lot more, and just looked after himself. And it's hard to explain how good he is, honestly. He's unbelievable. It's really hard. He's England's greatest ever player.
I mean, he's got 12,972 test runs scored.
Who's got the most runs out of all three? All four.
That
Joe
Joe
Root.
Root, 12,972. Steve Smith, 10,271. Kane Williamson, 9,276. And Kohli, 9,230.
How many games each?
I don't have that stat, but I can have a look for you.
Because sometimes averages can be a bit deceiving because, for example, Virat and some of the wickets they've played on over the last probably 6-7 years where they're absolutely spinning massive and it's almost like scoring 30 is like scoring 70. That brings it down, obviously. And then you got New Zealand can do a bit, can seem around, but also very nice where King is. But then playing in England is probably one of the more difficult places to play, where Joe Root plays obviously most of his cricket.
So how would you then divide that up to know who you think is the best? Because I think cricket is probably the hardest sport to actually rank players in because players play in so many different regions. Like they play against different oppositions at different times. Yeah.
So then you rank on like guys who've come and done well in difficult places. Like Virat's done amazingly well in Australia. Probably not as good in England. Joe Root's done amazing in other places like Sri Lanka, India, England, obviously, but probably not as good in Australia. So, and then Steve Smith's done amazingly well everywhere. Kane's done really well everywhere. So it's difficult. It's very difficult.
You asked about matches. Joe Root's played the most. Kohli second, Steve Smith third, and Kane Williamson fourth.
See, Kane goes under the radar because he's not that. I don't know. People don't talk about him on the same level as Joe Root. I mean, he's in the top 4, but they just never put him above, and everyone does that. But stats-wise, he's probably up there.
Basically, he's third or second in every stat that's test related, bar captaincy percentage, win percentage as a captain. Everything else, he's either second or he's third or he's right up there basically. I think it's to do with the fact, and I proper believe in psychology, as you know, like Kohli's viewed as like dynamite, captain, leader, legend. Joe Root's English, so obviously like people will always have him like really up there, and also he's unbelievably good. And the Ashes gets watched by so many people. He's done amazing things in the Ashes. Same for Steve Smith. That leaves Kane Williamson, and I think because he plays for New Zealand, like less neutrals watch him, and because like New Zealand are always like the underdog, that image lives with him as well. Everyone always views him as like 100%. The underdog guy. I think if he played for Australia or England, I think the conversation is more difficult to have.
Probably right.
Because I just think people see sports that way, innit?
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, so just to clarify, you went with Steve Smith, Joe Root, no particular order. Kohli, Kane Williamson. I predicted what you would have, and I put Kohli, Steve Smith, Root, and Williamson. I couldn't be more wrong if I tried. Yeah. And all the comments were putting that as their order. Anyway, let's carry on with the England chat. England just played Zimbabwe. I wouldn't say he's a fellow Beard bro because like I know he follows the pod, but he's not been on the pod. But Shoaib Bashir got 6 for 81. I watched the highlights. Obviously, didn't watch the whole match. His best figures in Test cricket, but he's only 21. Like in my mind, I thought he was a lot older. Yeah. How do you judge a player's talent at this age? Because lots of players have these moments, right? And I've watched a lot of content online, and some fans don't think he should be in the team. Some fans think other players should be in the team, blah, yada, yada, yada. You know how fans are. How good do you think he is? How good can he be? Yeah, like what's your interaction with him been like? Because there's I don't want to make you feel old, bro, but there's 16 years between you.
Yeah. So I feel, sorry, the guy just walked in. I feel... I think the real good thing about him is he's so young and he's done really well so far. But the hard thing is that actually in county cricket, he's not been playing that much. But when he plays under Ben Stokes, he thrives and does really well, and he's done well against all the teams he's played against so far. And he's only 21, and he's learning still on the job. It's not like he's got the experience of a lot of the spinners probably in county cricket, or even previously that played for England. So he's learning his trade while he's bowling, and that's very difficult. but he has the attributes. He's tall. He can spin the ball. He drifts it and stuff. And I think he'll go through a lot more ups and downs, which is normal, obviously, as a young cricketer playing for England. But he's done really well. I think he's done amazingly well, actually. He's good. He's got everything that needs to be there for a spinner.
Have you had many interactions with him? Obviously, like we spoke about this before, right? I think off camera, but naturally, like young South Asian kid, probably, I'm sure, like I really do want to get him on the podcast. I'm pretty sure I watched an interview of him where he basically said like he looked up to you and Rash specifically. Obviously, both of you play for England. He's also from a very similar place to where all three of me, you and Rash are from in Pakistan. So there's a lot of similarities there. Have you spoken to him, like shared any advice or given any guidance or anything?
I mean, we're in contact, like when he first made his debut, when he was playing, I can't remember who he was playing against. And he just asked me about the players and how they go about things. But he's got a great coach in Jitan Patel who teaches him, coaches him. So he's got all that there. And he's very lucky. He's got Ben Stokes as captain, Brendan McCullum as his coach. And I think he's got the personality where he's a bit of a fighter. I think he's got a bit of fire about him and enjoys the challenge and stuff. And obviously there'll be tough challenges coming up. But we're in contact. If he needs something, like or if he wants advice or something, he'll message. Or I always say what ball or whatever it is. He's a good kid though. He's a very good kid. When I say kid, it's hard to say kid because I feel like
21,
I'm young.
Man, he's a kid.
Yeah, but he's a good kid. Yeah.
Like I think people don't really like comprehend when like guys are like 21 and doing this, because like we're so desensitized to athletes across the board, right? Like whether you like golf and Tiger Woods won it when he was 18, I think, or whether you like whatever sport you like there's now wonder kids in every sport. Yeah. But like 21 years of age and getting 6 wickets, probably at some point in time was quite insane. Now, obviously, like I'm not saying it's not insane; it's still insane. But it's just people are like, but some people are going, it's only Zimbabwe. Some people are going,
you always have that in Test cricket. You always have that as fans. Like you do well, you don't do well. You say something, you don't say something. People always have opinions about you and negativity about you or positive stuff about you. So it doesn't really matter. And I think that's where, as a player, once you've established yourself or whatever, and you learn, you realize that it doesn't matter what people say. Some people say good things about you. Some people say bad things about you. Pundits say good things about you. Pundits say bad things about you. But actually, it doesn't matter. Everyone's got their job to do when it comes to the pundits, and people will have their opinions. But what really matters is what you think about yourself and what your team thinks about you and what you think about it.
But did you not learn this when you got older?
Yeah.
Surely at 21. Yeah. That's 20. When I was 21, I did not know what I was thinking. I didn't know left from right really. So you don't have like this inner voice that always tells you that like actually I'm fine. Like I'm actually really good.
No, but it gets worse. So when you're young, people kind of say more good things about you generally because you're young. You're 21. You're whatever. As you get older and you're in your peak by 26, 27, 28, whatever it is. You allow then things to also come in. When you're young, you actually don't allow it as much to come in. And then all of a sudden you're allowing things to come in. And every player probably goes through that. You start listening to what people say, you start reading what people are writing about you, all these kind of things. And then I think eventually the players that probably stay a bit longer than that, they just go back to how they were. They're like, okay, it doesn't really matter what people say. And it actually doesn't. Honestly, it really doesn't matter because somebody might say, or even in life and games or whatever, you might have a bad day. And obviously you think about it, you're disappointed, whatever. But the next day, you have to get yourself up again. Or you got to get over it as quick as you can. Obviously, you learn from that, but then you just got to crack on and try and improve and try and learn. So you got to get through all that.
I think, as you mentioned there, like, it's different for every person, right? But I think social media makes so much noise now. Social media's grown a lot since obviously you started out playing cricket. Like even in my job, like I even in the comments of these videos, I get ripped into. So it's just natural. One player you did back from the last episode was Zach Crawley. We got a clip ready to go. I was gonna post it the day he was batting, and then he did really well. So then I was like, this is gonna look like you said it after. But you backed him. Did you back someone else as well? Was it
Pope.
Yeah, he batted well as well.
It's not so much about backing. It was more like we need him to do well. So, like, as
Mm.
an England side, we need these guys to perform and score the runs so they get picked for Australia, because ultimately, Australia Ashes is the one that we want to win away from home. And we've got tough series now, obviously, coming up against India and stuff. So, we need these guys to be in form for that. Because they're such good players, and they're still young people. Like, in terms of Test cricket, like, I think Zach's only played 50-odd games. And it's a lot of games, don't get me wrong, but he's still pretty young. And he's done some incredible things, and he's played some amazing knocks. So he's so unique that when he scores his runs, they're unbelievable. Honestly, like fast bowling, smack spin, just proper. And we need him for Australia, because I think he's, like I said in that pod, that he's the best player, in my opinion, against that type of bowling, fast bowling and stuff. So we really, really needed to score runs in the summer.
You just, and I've heard this so much from England fans. As you know, I'm not an England fan, but everyone says like the Ashes is huge. And then, so playing devil's advocate here, as a player, you come and play Zimbabwe. No disrespect to Zimbabwe, in a one-off game. You have guys like Sikander Raza doing the enormous trip to go back. Obviously, it really matters to him. But as an England player, when you've just got the Ashes in mind, you don't want to get injured. You don't want anything to go wrong. How, like, are these games... Sounds awful for me to say, but I can say this. You can't say this. But are these games even important? Like,
of course they are. It's Test cricket.
I get that, bro, but like...
It might be a little bit easy. Obviously, it'll be easier than playing an Ashes game. But it's just as important. You're playing Test cricket for your country. The fans are there to watch you. You're at home. So, and you need the runs, and you need the wickets. There's competition everywhere. So, like, you don't perform, all of a sudden there's a bit of pressure on you. Sometimes it's harder to perform against a lesser side.
I get that. But you're like, from my experience anyway, from what I know, you're like a model professional, someone who's like in the zone, even at this age. Like when you were at KKR, when we spoke on our podcast, when we spoke off air, you were like, even though I'm not playing, like I'm still focused, still training like I'm playing every single game. In my opinion, from my very little experience, you're like a elite level, very focused athlete. But there surely is like something in certain players' minds. And I'm not calling any players out, genuinely, just saying there will be something in players' minds where they go, "Oh, Zimbabwe, like I just want to stay fit for the Ashes. I don't want anything to go wrong." I can't help but like go, that must be in someone's mind somewhere.
Actually, you know what? I can't think of a single player who thinks like that.
Really?
You can't think of Ashes right now. I mean, Ashes is a long-term thing. That's the goal, to win the Ashes. But you can't think about can't play against Zimbabwe just in case I get injured, or can't play against India. I don't want to get injured for Ashes. Somebody might come in and take your spot.
True.
You understand? So somebody might come in, play against Zimbabwe, play against India, and do really, really well. And then what? You lose your spot. All of a sudden, this guy has to play. And you've already got Jacob Bethel sitting, obviously missed this game because he was in, he was due to be in IPL, so they picked it. But he's a quality player. He could easily, over the next 6 months, be knocking the door down for Ashes, and I'm sure he'll be there anyway. But I'm sure he's thinking, "Oh no, I'm going there to play." You can't afford to have an easy, like, "Oh, it's only Zimbabwe, it doesn't matter." Like Stokesy, so Stokesy bowling is running in, trying to get wickets to win the game, and it was a dominating performance. And it was you could easily like bat again. You didn't need them to follow on. You understand? But he's like, "No, it's about winning. It's about winning the games. It's about putting in a dominating performance."
I get that completely. Genuinely, I understand. And people are going to be giving me pelters in the comments for like suggesting it. But genuinely, I'm just thinking out loud. If I was like, let's say when I play like in my local league, when we play the team bottom of the league, I'm not saying Zimbabwe are, I'm naturally, my foot is off the gas because I'm thinking about the game that's happening in 2 days' time where we're playing top of the league, for example. Hence asked the question. Very quickly, we have to talk about a little story that Zimbabwe have had. Ben Curran played. Obviously chose to play for Zimbabwe like his dad, who obviously passed away. Rest in peace to him. And the question I had actually was about genes. Shout out to the Currans, all three playing elite level cricket, which is insane. But would you say cricket, it requires less God-given talent and is easy to practice and get good at than other sports?
No.
You said earlier with Joe Root, the reason he improved, he hit more balls,
Yeah.
for example. Like he kept playing
Yeah.
cricket, and that's how he improved. So does that not speak to what I just asked?
No, but that's not the reason why he improved only. He's got the God-given talent to play how he knows he can play, and then hitting balls on top of that. And not just hitting balls, it's the quality. It's not the quantity. It's the quality he's doing and what he's working on and how focused he is. It's not just like hitting balls and that I'm going to be world class all of a sudden. A lot of people do that, but it's like when I say hitting balls, I mean like the quality of balls he's hitting, the testing, like he's doing the testing work, the things that he's probably not as good at. He's working on those things and to an extreme level. So you need the talent, first of all. Of course you need talent, but it doesn't mean you're going to make it. You need the hard work that comes with it as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. But that's the same for every sport. That's the same for every job. But would you not say, generally looking at cricket, say the Currans, all three of them, obviously very, very talented, but their father played cricket. So there's a lot of genes there that have obviously been passed through where these guys have got that.
I think their grandfather also played for Zimbabwe.
Yeah, he did. So they've got a lineage of cricketers. Naturally, like I just watched a video the other day on socials of you and your son playing side by side, and he plays just like you. So he's got like a God-given, potentially God-given, gene-given talent, but now he's got to practice to get to the top level. Which is why I think anyway, like if you're a footballer, for example, you get a God-given talent, you're probably going to the top.
Maybe, but in cricket is like it's not just that. So it's like, do you have the hunger to play? Do you want to also carry on the legacy that your family has, or whatever, or your father did, or your brothers are doing? Because it's difficult. I think it's very difficult for Ben Curran, who played for Zimbabwe, because his brothers killed it. Honestly, they had an extreme. They did really, really well. Played for England when they're young, playing county cricket, established players, whatever, play all the leagues all over the world. But for him, it was difficult. Maybe he felt so I have a brother, obviously, Kadir, who played first class cricket, played 120 odd games. I have a younger brother who's a very good player, but just didn't quite make it. Kabir played for England, played one test match, played, I think, 30 odd ODIs. I can't remember how many. Did really well in first class cricket. So it's like, I was very lucky that I was training with these guys who are way older than me, in a sense. So then my standard is up. And around us, there was a lot of really quality players. And obviously, it's the work you put in, the dedication you put in counts. But with these three brothers in particular, it's very rare that you have three that play. You might have two, but to have three playing international, and then your father played, then your grandfather played. So extremely talented family in terms of cricket. So yes, I was really happy for him to be playing. I don't know him as well as the other two. I was really happy that he played that, carrying on that legacy his father had left behind. It must be an amazing, proud moment for the family.
Yeah, insane to have all three. Insane. Anyway, we're going to leave you on that. I was going to ask you about your brothers, but we'll come to that for the next episode. We've got plenty of recorded time, plenty of episodes.
And me and Rash, by the way, are very similar. He's got two brothers who are also quality players. So, yes, we had a very similar upbringing in terms of that. Like we were around a lot of cricketers, like in the family, competition, this and that. So, yeah, it'll be interesting when we get Rash on the pod, talk about it, how everything started, how everything finishes and stuff.
I genuinely had no idea. Yeah. So, we'll start the next podcast with this conversation because I think that's mad interesting that both of you had like elder brothers or just brothers that obviously one was like you kind of like elevate each other, right? And naturally, like if you're playing every single day, then and you said both of your brothers were good. I'm guessing both of Rash's brothers were good as well.
Yeah, very good, very good players.
Yeah, so you've got like, do you two know each other from early? So like, was there ever a point where like all six of you?
From under 13s. Okay. Me and Rash, we played together I think might have been Taunton Festival. And then we played under 15 and under 15s together. He's a year younger than me. Then we played obviously county against each other a lot. And then we played, we went on an 18 tour and then we ended up playing England together.
Have the six brothers been together at any point playing cricket?
There was a time where me, my brother, we went to Pakistan to train and his brother and him were also there. They were just leaving, and we just got there. It was the other way around. I can't remember. But we've been together, but I don't think we've played together, like all together.
Oh, that needs to happen.
But we always like, so my brother might have played with his brother. I played against his older brother. I played against Rash in that side. So we always do that.
Mad. Right, we need to have this discussion when Rash is on next.
Cool.
For you guys listening or watching, thank you very much as always. As I say, I keep promising this, but I think this time it's happening. The studio episodes are coming soon. We're also desperate to be in the studio, to be honest. This has been like hard work. Mo's obviously done unbelievably well. Rash as well when he's coming in and out. And then, so yeah, thank you guys for the support. Obviously, as I said at the start of the episode, make sure you send in your questions in the comments. But we'll see you on the next one.